use a very soft viscose fabric with a crinkle linen optic because yeah, it's very soft and I think it's perfect because of the knot in the front. So I would choose something flowy, not too stiff, so maybe not 100% linen. Yeah. But you can choose what you want and let's go. So first of all, I cutted all my pieces and I made here the notches. I always make a small cut with the scissors here because then later it's easier to sew the sleeve. And here's the shoulder, here's the back sleeve, and here's the front sleeve, and here we have the gathering. Okay, and then we can start with the front and back. So this is the back pattern, and here we have the front. So, and now we place the nice sides together. So this is the nice side. And also this is the nice side. Here, the shoulder seams. So, and now we can sew the shoulder seam here with 1 centimeter. So and then we can finish the shoulder seam with normal zigzag stitch or a serger if you have. And we can also finish here the front and the back neckline here. And we can also finish the hem of the sleeves. So here on both sleeves. So now we can iron the shoulder seam here. I always iron the seam open first and then I iron it to the back pattern. So. So now we finish here the shoulder and then the neckline. And we can also finish here the upper edge of the little facing. So now we have here at the front our notches here and here. And here I place the facing with the notches. here, right sides together. So here the seam is inside, so this is the right side. So. And then we sew here from the notch, so here's the notch, here with 7 millimeters to the other side, where the other notch is. We do not sew here, only parallel to the edge with 7 millimeters, and I do the same on the other side. And then we can later cut here from the edge to the start point, and here also. And then we can turn it to the other side. And then we can iron here the seam allowance open. And then place it here to the inside, like this. And then we iron it again. And then we can fold the front and back neckline twice 7 millimeters. So I folded 7 millimeters up, and then I press it, and then I folded 7 millimeters again, and then we can sew here close to the edge. So now we sew here very close to the edge, but we will leave a few centimeters open on both sides. And then we can iron it again. So now the left side is here on top, and then we can sew the side seam. So I place it here like this on top. Here's where the twist will happen, and then this one over the other side, and then here, nice sides together. So, and here I start exactly where I end the last seam. So, and here I sew these 4 layers together. So, and then I sew here with 7 millimeters. And I do the same here on the other side. So nice sides together. So. And then we sew exactly here to this point and to the side seam. And then we can iron the seam a little bit. I iron it open and then to the bottom. So, and I do the same on the other side, and then we can finish the seam here. And here I only sew here the overlock seam. I fold it here to the seam allowance, and then I sew here a few stitches that it cannot open again. So, and then we can sew the side seams, so nice sides together. And here at the end I open here the front hem, and then I sew it open together, and later we will also fold the back hem twice. So both sides with 1 centimeter seam allowance. And then we can press the seam open and then to the back, and then we can finish the seam. So then we can fold the back hem also 7 millimeters and 7 again, and also sew it close to the edge, same as in the front. So, and then we iron the seam again. So now we can start with the sleeve. Here we have to check that we have a right and a left sleeve. So here the side with the 2 notches is the back of the sleeve. So I place my patterns here like this, and so I have here the 2 notches and here. So I fold it once like this, right sides together, and like this, and then I have a right and left sleeve, and here I place the side seams together and sew it with 1 centimeter. I do this on both sides, and then we can finish the seam, and yeah, then we can sew the sleeve to the body. Then we can iron the seam to the back sleeve. So here on the curve you can see this one is the back. It's a little bit wider and also a little bit lower. so. And then we can also sew the hem. I iron it around 7 millimeters up and then 7 millimeters again, and then we can sew here close to the edge, and then we can sew in the sleeve to the top. So now we can make the gathering here on the sleeve cap, and we have here a notch on the front sleeve and also here on the back sleeve. So this is here where we gather the sleeve, and I do it with the normal sewing machine with the biggest stitch. So I make one seam here around 4 millimeters from the edge, a second line around 7 or 8 millimeters from the edge, and then we can pull the threads a little bit, and then we have a nice gathering. And here we have also one notch for the shoulder seam here, yeah, because then we can later pin it easier to the sleeve. But first we do the gathering. So I set my machine to the biggest stitch. So, and here's the notch, and I start around 1 centimeter before the notch, and then I sew here with 4 or 5 millimeters. And I don't do front and back stitches, only the normal stitch. So, and then we can pull one of the threads from both seams, and then we pull it here a little bit. So I do this on both sides. And then we can start to pin it to the top, and then we can pull a little bit more or less, that the gathering fits perfect to the armhole. Okay, so now we have to check which one it is. So this is, I pull it to the right side, so the nice seam is here outside. And here is the back sleeve. So this is the sleeve for this side. So I have here this side with one notch. So this is the front. And then I place it here, nice sides together, the side seams here together. I always start here at the side seam. And then I pin it here to the front. Here under the arm is no coloring, so it's flat. So, and here's the notch, and we have to check, and also here's the notch. So I place it here notch to notch and pin it. So, and then I do the same on the other side here. So we can also turn it to this side, so now we can see it a little bit better. So here's my notch, and here. So, and now we can check if the gathering fits here perfect to the armhole. I need to pull it here a little bit more. So. Then we can place here the shoulder notch to this shoulder seam here. So it's perfect. And here I have to pull it also a little bit more. So. And then we can sew here the sleeve with 1 centimeter seam allowance, and then we can finish the seam, and then we're done. And I do this the same on the other sleeve, and yeah, that's it. And we always sew here on the sleeve, not on the body.